Hello everybody, I hope you can hear me. You should be able to. Today I am on my own. Yes, this is the first time on this channel. It's not technically a podcast, it's just a tier list. And this is my final free day in many weeks until the next episode recording actually, which is episode 4. Yes, we have recorded the first 3 episodes. So I don't know if there's going to be many people joining me live in terms of viewers. So you may be watching this back. If so, fair enough. Today I thought I would do something fun, for me anyway, a tier list. So I've got great, very good, good, mediocre, bad, really bad, and shite. Hopefully I don't have to put any in shite, but yeah, there's a few. Yeah, every single Doctor Who episode from Modern Who, so it's 2005 to 2020. Presumably this has got a Revolution of the Daleks in from 2021, but if not, I would rank him good or very good anyway. So yeah, there's that. As you can see, it's not in order. So the first one is, for example, The End of Time Part 2, but then the final one is The Time of Angels. So there's literally no continuity at all. I'll just be going into it. Yeah, I'll just be going into it, and hopefully I am live streaming. I do believe so. So yes, I'm going to quickly fly through these, and I'll probably just give a quick explanation to why. The end of part 2 time. Oh yeah, that is great English, and it actually would be a shite title. So yeah, that's shite. No, I'm joking. End of time part 2, I think, is vastly overrated. I saw a tweet the other day. When I say the other day, I mean yesterday. So technically it was the other day, but not in the traditional sense of the phrase. Anyway, I'm going sidetracked. The end of time part 2. I saw a tweet the other day, and again I said it, but whatever. And they said that it was really self-indulgent, and whilst yes, it is. It's still great. It may be self-indulgent, but again, most of Moffat, well, not most of Moffat, but just a common criticism I see of the Moffat era, for example, is that sometimes it does go up its own arse sometimes, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think there's some definitely classic Who stories that does that. I think Power of the Daleks, which I watched yesterday, that was up its own arse in terms of just like, oh, look how good we are, and that's not a bad thing at all. It's like, yes, this is awesome. It's trying to be really clever. It is really clever. So just move on with it. And The End of Time has some fantastic character pieces. Wilfred is a joy to watch. And if I'm about to get through about 100 episodes, I've got to speed this up. So yeah, personally, I think this is really, really overrated. The End of Time is a great conclusion to the 10th Doctor, and I think the 10th Doctor is a great Doctor. He'd definitely be in my top 3 or 4. Next up is The Idiot's Lantern. Again, another 10th Doctor one, and one that's on the other end of the spectrum. Taking some advice, well, not some advice, just like some tips from Luke in terms of this. Luke Sharp, who was in episode 11 or 10, I believe, or I think it was 11 of the Hit or Miss podcast season 2. He is not. He doesn't restrict his views, and he's like, if something's bad, I will say it's bad, as opposed to it could be it's poor, mediocre. He just says, yeah, no, it's bad. The Idiot's Lantern is definitely a bad story, or at least it's poor. I wouldn't say it's shite, and I wouldn't say it's really bad, but I am going to put The Idiot's Lantern in, as you know, because it is down there with the very worst Modern Who has to offer. And I think if we're setting the standard for one of the worst episodes in Modern Who, then it's got to be really bad, but it's not really bad. I'm actually going to change this. Poor, bad. And I'm going to chuck it in bad. There we go. Hopefully you guys can understand my reasoning for that one. Anyway, The Runaway Bride. I guess we're just going with the David Tennant ones first. This one we have The Runaway Bride. Now, this was a very good introduction to Donna Noble, actually, and I've seen a couple of tweets now and again just saying Donna was not as bearable as she is in this one as she is in series 4, and I'd actually say the opposite. Well, I wouldn't say the opposite. I don't think she's unbearable in many episodes, I think, the Doctor Story, but you'll see that in a future review. We didn't review the Doctor Story, but you'll understand once we actually get into the series of the Spin the Wheel podcast. I don't think she's particularly great in that one. But in The Runaway Bride, she's very strong. I think her chemistry with Tennant sizzles in this one. And yeah, Russell T Davies did a really good job. And I believe this was the second. Yeah, this was the second Christmas special. And 2 hits out of 2 for the Christmas specials for RTD. I think it's very good. Again, it's so high. I think The End of Time is part 2 is a great episode. I won't fall back on that. The Runaway Bride, though, is it very good or good? Actually, no, I remember last time I watched it was in December, and I said it was like a 7 out of 10 as opposed to an 8 out of 10, which it was. So I think it high good for the Runaway Bride. And then next up we have The Doctor's Daughter. Middle of the road. Nothing special, nothing particularly bad. It's just run of the mill, average filler story really compared to the rest of series 4. It's not bad, but I made my thoughts clear in the future episode of the podcast. The Stolen Earth. If I was going to apply Michael's logic for the Big Bang, I'm sorry to call that again, Michael. But if I were to apply Michael's logic for this, it would also be shite. But again, it's just a spectacle, and I think it's superb. And I think the series 4 finale, yes, I agree. With many people that the Stolen Earth is weaker. No, it's stronger than. Oh, this is part 1, innit? Yeah, the Stolen Earth. Oh, it's great. Yeah, the Journey's End is a bit weaker. That's what I meant. But yeah, Stolen Earth, fantastic episode. Love and Monsters. I'm so sorry, Nan. I know you like this episode, but it is really bad. Really bad acting. Really bad story. Really bad everything. For a Dr. Light episodes, compare this to Blink, man. I know Blink is overrated somewhat, and I still think Blink is a very good episode, but again, Dr. Light episodes, they can be good, and they can be really bad, and this is the case where it's really bad, unfortunately. Last of the Time Lords now, which I think is the very final episode of Series 3. Now, with this one, I don't get the genuine hate for this one that so many people give it. Like, yes, it's not great. Excuse me again. It's not great, but I think it's solid, and we get to see more Martha, and that's not a negative thing at all. Martha is fantastic most of the time. So yeah, I think this one will. I think the other 2 parts definitely bring it up, but on its own, I would say it's solid. It's solid. I would say mediocre. I don't think it's good. Anyway, Voyage of the Damned now, and another one that I get. It's just the 10th Doctor era in the sense that a lot of people on Twitter just. Maybe it's just the community I'm in. It's just like, not a community. I see a vast range of opinions. God, I see a vast range of opinions. But Voyage of the Damned, like, I see people say, oh, this is really overrated. I disagree completely. I think Voyage of the Damned is great. I know it's a Christmas special and the death toll is particularly high and people didn't like that, which I can see, but on its own, without the context of the episode, I think it's superb. Yes, the end was a bit cheesy with all the cream waving, and it was like, oh, that's just typical Who, let's be honest, especially in the RTD era, something like that happening. But yeah, Voyage of the Damned, I would personally go great. But yeah, I'm gonna go great. You know what? Doctor Who is my favourite show, and I'm not ashamed to say that. I've really like a lot of episodes. Oh, for God's sake! And it's gonna be very top heavy for the start, just because I am looking at the list now, and there's so many good ones coming up. If you watched the previous live special we did with me, Michael, and Jamie, Mario Bowser. I almost called him Big Bowser then. No, Mario Bowser, Big Teddy. You would know that I did rank Planet of the Ood at the top of my best possible series in terms of episode 3s, and I do really like this episode, even more so than A Town Called Mercy, which I adore as well. Just by the way, for the people, if there is anyone in the chat, I will read out the chat towards the end or about halfway through, and also at the end, so that I don't fall back. But yeah, Planet of the Ood, it's great. Again, not ashamed. Oh, there's so bloody many. Okay, The Wars of Mars. I'm not going to explain myself much. Wars of Mars, overrated, but it's... again, I need to explain myself. It's just like the whole okay, this isn't the only criticism I have, but the fire being on Mars, I know for spectacle, but even for spectacle, it still looks stupid because even if you turn your brain off like for a few minutes, it still doesn't make sense and it still doesn't add to it. In my opinion, it's just melodramatic for the sake of being melodramatic. I didn't think David Tennant's particularly great in this one, contrary to what some people think or some people say. I disagree with that. I think David Tennant is a good, solid, not particularly great in this one. I think the bike skag is too long. It's just like the comedic timing just wasn't there most of the time. Yes, creepy villains. Yes, a good story, and I think it is. It's very good. It's very good. I wouldn't say it's great though. I would not say it's great. Next up, the Satan Pit. Yep. Army of Ghosts. Yep. Oh no. Army of Ghosts is good. Doomsday is very good with a good shout for great. But yeah, I'm content with that for now. 42. Christian Bale's first outing, if I'm not so mistaken. Again, very exposition heavy, and this isn't just a criminal criticism. I swear to you, like the whole when the Doctor's been encapsulated by the sun, him and Martha before she actually puts him into the thing to try and save his life. They have a like a 2-minute chat about oh, I'm so scared, and then I've watched this many times, but I watched it with my nan and also my ma, and both watches they both like shouted at the TV and they just said get on with it, and I thought yeah, absolutely, like why is there so much exposition here? This guy is literally dying. So it is bad. I'd say 42 is bad. Silence in the Library. Now, another overrated Moffat one. Well, an overrated one in general, not just Moffat. Overrated, 100%. I think some of the CGI was really ropey. And if I'm not... is this part 1 or part 2? I don't have the chat open. I'm going to actually get up on my phone just in case there are people around to watch this live with me. And my phone's on 1%. If this is part 2... then it would be mediocre or good. If this is part 1, then I would probably say very good. I'm actually going to Google this because I don't want to mess this up. Silence. And all the whole resolution to part 2 makes no sense to me. Like cow, they make such a emphasis on cow, and then the explanation to it at the end, I think, what? Or is that it? Or it's not the latter, it's actually just like, okay, Silence in the Library is part 1. Forest of the Dead is part 2. So yeah, I will say this is very... Yeah. Oh my god, this is so difficult. I will say very good. Yeah, but Forest of the Dead, I cannot put any higher than good. I think it makes no sense to me. I need to rewatch it a dozen more times for me to understand. The Golden Fireplace, a stronger Moffat script. I think this is very good. Next up, The Impossible Planet. Yeah, it's the same. It's the exact same level as The Same Pit. The quality in those 2 episodes doesn't differ. It is literally great. The Sontaran Stratagem now. Again, I'm gonna have to check if this is part 1 or part 2. Part 2 is slightly weaker than part 1. I think it's just more of a case of part 1 ends with such... Like, this just goes with every single 2-parter. It ends with such promise for the second, and that means the second part doesn't always deliver. But I disagree with that in some instances, like the Satan Pit, the Big Bang, the Zygon Inversion, episodes like that, you know. So, Stratagem. I'm just going to check if this is part 1 or part 2. So the Sontaran Stratagem comes before. So yes, I'm going to say this one is good. I will say it's good. The Christmas Invasion now, great. Straight up, I would probably say the best post-regeneration story, even better than the 11th Hour, in my opinion. It's great. I'm going to burp again. Lovely. Yeah, it's great. I'd probably give this one like a 10 out of 10. The 11th hour, maybe like a 9. Fear Her now. Yeah. The Sound of Drums. Okay, this one is very good. I think the whole music and all the action scenes and all the what's her name? Freema Agyeman. What a performance from her! Utterly fantastic from her in that episode. Next up, we have Planet of the Dead, written by Russell T Davies and no one else, or maybe Phil Ford. No, Phil Ford co-wrote The Waters of Mars, I believe, and also The Caretaker, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe Time Heist. I need to check that one day, or like 1 hour later. Anyway, Planet of the Dead. Yes. I always forget this one exists because of all the significance around these episodes, in terms of right next to it is The End of Time and also The Waters of Mars, two very acclaimed stories. Of course, The End of Time on both sides of the spectrum. So I do sometimes forget this one exists. But when I do watch it, I just think it's poor. It's around the mediocre poor section. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's definitely not good. It's definitely not good. Rise of the Cybermen. I think this is the first part, and I think both parts, again, I think the two-parters in Series 2 are great on the whole. So yeah, Rise of the Cybermen, we're definitely going great. School Reunion now, and I think this is very good. The Wedding of Sarah Jane Smith, God knows why this one's in there. Probably just because the Doctor's there. I would also say very good. Daleks in Manhattan, mediocre. Utopia, get that in great. Utopia is the best part of the Series 3 finale. I think it's fantastic. On my last rewatch, I did find one or two bits where I thought, oh, that could have been better. But then on the time I watched it before, I was like, this is just utterly magnificent. I can't find a problem with this. I think it's just, if I turn my brain off and just enjoy it, I think, yeah, this is fantastic. And then when I actually tried to critique it, I think, okay, that wasn't so good. Like, the Doctor just flipping a switch to some mechanicalism, or whatever the hell you call it, machine, that he doesn't understand, and he just flips a switch. Like 2 watches ago, I loved that. On the last one, I thought, but yeah, still Utopia. It would alternate between very good and great for me, but I think great is very justified. Gridlock. It's good. Series 3 starts good. I wouldn't say it's very good until like the final 5 episodes. 5 or 6 episodes. Yeah, standard run of the mill, good. I don't get the praise it gets, like saying great, very good. No. Yeah, I'm tired. Yeah, if I hadn't said, I'm finished college now, so no more college for me. So yeah, that's a relief. Anyway, Forest of the Dead. I'm so sorry for the people that like this. I'm so sorry. The End of Time. Good. I think that's fair. Human Nature. I think I actually gave this like a 9, or I'm gonna chuck in very good. The Shakespeare Code, poor. The Age of Steel, I'll put it next to. There we go. The Lazarus Experiment. Unlike Michael, I actually kind of like this one. I'd probably put it mediocre. I can't let you get it. Oh god. Oh, blimey, there's so many to go. First on Pompeii, of course, first appearance of Karen Gillan and Peter Capaldi in Doctor Who. Again, overrated. I think I would still chuck it in very good though. Yeah, I'd chuck it in very good. Tooth and Claw. I really like this one. I really like it. I'm actually gonna move the Fires of Pompeii down to good. I think. No. I'll chuck it in very good, but the Tooth and Claw, I think good is very fair. I do, maybe a guilty pleasure, but I do really like that story. Evolution of the Daleks, I tried that next to Daleks Saber. Oh god. Yeah, I'm talking so much that my mouth is just like, Will, please shut up. Usually I have more than one person, so I'm just trying to carry this on my own. The Unicorn and the Wasp, it's great. It's great. The Next Doctor, it's fun. It's innocent fun. It's just like, sure, it's harmless. Harmless fun, harmless innocent fun. There's nothing really bad about it. So is it poor or is it mediocre? What is it gonna land on? It landed on mediocre. I'm not opposed to that. The Poison Sky now. I would say it's between good and mediocre. I don't know. It's definitely not as good as Stratagem, so I would say mediocre. I may move this up to very good, but I think for now. Oh man, why can't someone join me with this? Partners in Crime. It's good. It's solid. Sure. Family of Blood. Again, is very good. That two-part is not quite great for me. I don't think David Tennant is particularly great in Family of Blood either. When he starts breaking down, I think, Jesus Christ, this is so hammy. But yeah, it's not bad at all. Like, in terms of the story, in terms of the episode, yeah, it's not up there for me in terms of the very highest. New Earth now. I know, speaking of Michael, he really likes this one. I do not. I'd say, you know what, I would say bad. There are some nice things like the Cassandra going to meet her past self in a new body. I think that's heartbreaking. But other than that, the whole possession thing is just not my cup of tea. And like, first full David Tennant episode, to have him acting so uncharacteristic of the Doctor, just being possessed by this creature, it's just not a good look. Smith and Jones, another good one. Series 3, started good. Never really fluctuating quality, to be honest. I don't think there's a bad story in season 3. You can hold me to that. And you can. Oh, knackered. And you can hold me to that because I put 42 in bad. God damn it. But yeah, 42 is bad. Sure, one bad episode in series 3. Blink, overrated, but very good. Turn Left, not overrated, fantastic. Midnight, not overrated, fantastic. Journey's End. Now this is the finale that I was talking about. In terms of spectacle, it's fantastic. Let's be honest. The Ghost Monument. Ha. Okay. The Ghost Monument, visually stunning. I don't think there's an episode that beats The Ghost Monument in terms of visuals. They utilize South America brilliantly. Even though I did see the JXE video, and they said they were just saying it was just walking around in the desert, and I was like, maybe not. I get it kind of, but I just don't really like criticism anyway. The Ghost Monument is really, 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 really bad. It's really bad. I'm sorry, the writing is dreadful, but visually it looks stunning. Is it shite level? It's definitely on par with Love and Monsters in my opinion. So I've got to do it. It's one of the worst episodes in my opinion. The Ghost Monument is definitely in shite for me. The Woman Who Left, the Woman Who Fell to Earth. I have no problem talking that in good. It's solid. It's fun. Exposition dumps for God's sake. But still, it's good. Flawed, but good. Demons of the Punjab. I really liked this one on first and second viewing, and then I watched some when I rewatched the great episodes. And on the bounce, I watched some really good episodes, and then I watched Demons of the Punjab, and I thought, this doesn't hold up well, and I just thought, yeah, this one isn't for me anymore. I do think it's middle of the road. I think it's average. I think it deals with some great things, but I think it's very surface level, and it doesn't do much with the themes. I think it could explore it more, and it's very convenient. It's very cliched. But the ending, again, the visuals at the ending are fantastic, and the music is as well, at the end particularly. But yeah, middle of the road, I would say mediocre for Demons of the Punjab. Rosa, I think this is going to be the only Chibnall era episode, I have no issue putting in great. I think, yes, the space racist whole concept is a bit naff. Of course, racism bad, yes, absolutely. But that's the best they could do. I do get that criticism. I don't particularly hold that criticism in terms of if we were to review this episode onto the podcast, I would say, yes, sure, I agree with you, but I wouldn't bring it up because I was just like, it does its job. It doesn't need to be some really creepy alien, and like this is all it needs to be. It's contained. It's not focused on the villain really. It's focused on what the villain does, and the villain doesn't do anything that he does on screen. If you get what I mean. So the villain doesn't bother me. I have no problem saying it's great. It's not 10 out of 10, but it's definitely up there with the 9s, 9.5s, 8.5s. The Tsuranga Conundrum now. Really, really, really underrated. I hated this one, like many people do, on the first viewing, but then I rewatched it a couple of weeks ago and I thought this is actually decent. Yeah, it's decent, and the people that say the thing is dreadful, yes, but it's barely in the episode. Like, I was on a call with the special effects person of Doctor Who in Series 11 and Series 12, and he said that was his and the team favourite CGI piece they've ever done while working on the Chibnall era. And these are the people that were recruited with the Chibnall era, not before. There was one woman, but the bloke knew. But yeah, they said this was their favourite thing to do. And I think fair enough, but it's barely in it, so that's probably why they liked it, because it was they get money for not very good and for not much work. So yeah, Tsuranga Conundrum is mediocre, and I do not understand the Pating criticism. I do, but it's not a major thing in the episode. I reckon it's in the UK though. The Battle of Fransko Afkonos. Kerblam. The Witchfinders. It Takes You Away. Spyfall Part 1. Resolution. Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. Orphan 55. Spyfall Part 2. Fugitive of the Judoon. Can You Hear Me? Ascension of the Cybermen. I would say good. Praxius. Haunting of Villa Diodati. The Time of Children. Oh, okay, now we're on to some stuff I do like. Amy's Choice. I definitely don't rate it as high as I used to. It's definitely not great, but I do still really enjoy it, and it's a comfort episode even though I don't watch it often. But yeah, it's still very good for me. Next up we have the Vampires of Venice. The ending really lets it down. Now we have the 11th Hour. Like I said, it's pretty great. It's not as good as the Christmas Invasion, but it's still a great episode. Like, great episodes don't have to be 10 out of 10. They can still be like 9 out of 10 in my head canon anyway. So yeah, the 11th Hour, it would be very harsh to put it down to very good when it is arguably in the top 3 all time post regeneration stories. Next up, Flesh and Stone. Again, not much. A lot happens in this one compared to part 1. That being said, the ending is very weird, where Amy tries to seduce the Doctor. But other than that, it is a really good story. I have no problems putting that in very good. And I would say it is superior to Blink. So yeah, Blink's there. They're both in the same category, but I would say Flesh and Stone and The Time of Angels is better. Pandora Opens. I think it's almost flawless. Cold Blood. I do think this one is poor. Not a big step down, because part 1's not particularly good. But part 1 is good, but part 2 isn't at all. And it lets the side down massively. And the mother, I know she's meant to be on my nerves, but she just gets on my nerves, and like, no. Vincent and Doctor, it's great. It is fantastic. I do not see a thing wrong with it. I know that people say the creature, but it makes a point of its figure of his imagination, and it makes there's about 2 or 3 speeches about that in that episode. So I think it fits with the tone perfectly. Yes, it may have been to save CGI, but then again, they had to use CGI to use the monster. That's probably more expensive than actually getting a costume out of something else. So I don't get the criticism at all. They probably went through more trouble using the CGI. But yeah. There's no problem with that one. The Hungry Earth, it's good. It is good. The Lodger. I'd actually say good as well. I don't think there's particularly anything strong with it. It's not the strongest. It's not the weakest. It's solid run of the mill. Series 5. The Impossible Astronaut. I think it is very good. I think it's strong, very good. I'm going to, at the end, if I got a bit of time, I'm going to rank each one. So actually no, that's going to be difficult. Anyway, The Curse of the Black, I've got to fly through these, otherwise I'll be here all day. The Curse of the Black Spot, now I would say it is good. Very underrated, very understated, and I think people should show more respect for this one. Now, A Christmas Carol, I think is possibly the best Christmas special. Christmas Carol is definitely in great for me. Day of the Mood, great. I do think it's superior over The Impossible Astronaut. The Big Bang, one of my favourite stories of all time. Let's Kill Hitler, very underrated, very overhated, but I cannot for the life of me say it's good. It's not good. It's solid. It's decent. The Rebel Flesh, I can say this one's good because I bloody love it. And The Almost People was almost there as well. Very, very, very underrated. It's not great. It's definitely not great. But it's not boring, Jamie. It's not mediocre. It's not bad. I don't get the sidecast criticism. The sidecasts are fantastic. Yes, the CGI is a bit ropey at times, but overall, it is a very good romp. Next up, The Doctor's Wife. I've never understood the praise for it. Well, I do understand the praise for it. It's very different, very unique. But yeah, I think it's good. No better than good. Good Man Goes to War as well. I would put in good. It used to be very good, but I rewatched it very recently, and I saw the criticisms a bit more, and I saw that could have been better. And I thought, again, it's just a case of Demons of the Punjab in mediocre, one rank below. It's like, I watched all these great episodes. This doesn't hold up particularly well when I compare it to you. But I still think A Good Man Goes to War is good. Rating of River Song. It was just short of good. I would possibly give it like a 6 out of 10. I would say that's mediocre, to be honest. Yeah, very underrated one as well. The God Complex. Good. 7 out of 10. 7.5. Yeah, may push for a very good. Again, like I said in the review, very paper thin resolutions in terms of paper thin explanations for things. So like, this happens because it did, not because of any motive or something like that. That's a real downfall from the God Complex, but I still really like it. Girl Who Waited, good. I don't think there's, again, particularly anything great about it. But yeah, it's in my opinion, it is good. Night Terrors, overhated, but I would still say it's poor. People say a lot of child acting is not very good. This is a case of where it is really bad. It's not very good. Yes, this is not very good either. But yeah, I think some criticism on other child actors, two of which are coming up soon, I think are very unjustified. But with this one, I can definitely see the child acting is not the best. Thankfully, he wasn't in much. Well, he wasn't much. Actually, yeah, that's a bad opinion. But yeah, Night Terrors, poor, I think. Closing Time, bad. It's bad. I don't even know how to explain why. There's some nice character stuff, but it's definitely bad, closer to bad than good. The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. Very, very overhated in my opinion, and I think it's 7 out of 10. And the ending scene is possibly the scene that hits closest to home for me. Not just that reason, but I think it's just very overhated generally. I don't know why, to be honest. I don't know why people hate it. The child acting is not bad, for God's sake. They're good for the most part. In the end, it kind of trails down a bit, but yeah. And I think Holly O, I follow her on Instagram. She was a really, really good actress, and in this, and I think she's going to do some awesome things in the future. The Power of Three now. God damn it, Jimno. Asylum of the Daleks. Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. A Town Called Mercy. Rings of Act 10. The Snowman. The Angels Take Manhattan. Cold War. The Bells of St. John. Oh, I'd say video game. The Crimson Horror. Nightmare in Silver. The Name of the Doctor. Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS. Hyde. Now this is one I do have something to say. The Hyde is very, very, fucking very underrated. There's some very intricate character building stuff in this that I don't think some people see, and if they do, I don't think they appreciate enough. The character stuff in the Hyde is truly superb. On the whole, I think it's a very, very good episode. There's some ropey CGI here and there, especially on the planet when the Doctor goes to the pictures. I think that looks really bad. But yes, one of, if not the best from Series 7B. I would personally say very good. Day of the Doctor, I do think it's overrated, but it's Day of the Doctor. Come on. At the Time of the Doctor, I think it's alright. It's good. It's good. Nice exit from my favourite Doctor. Death of the Doctor, this is great. Absolutely. Into the Dalek, mediocre. Deep Breath, yeah, very good. Kill the Moon, I understand the criticism, and I completely understand it's not good at all. So that goes bad. Robot of Sherwood now. I rewatched this recently for no, I shouldn't say that, but obviously now you understand why I did say that. You can probably work it out. Yes, it is. Anyway, Mummy on the Orient Express. Where did I put that? The Caretaker. Time Heist. Death in Heaven. Really? Oh no, Death in Heaven. That's part 2, isn't it? Part 2 is straight bad. I'm sorry, it's really bad. Straight bad. Really bad. Flatline. I actually made a tweet about this earlier. Flatline is, in my opinion, it used to be great, but when I put my critical hat on, or even not even with the critical hat, I just watched it and I thought the ending could have been better. Come on. But everyone else, it was good. I personally wouldn't. It's close between good and very. I'm actually going to move Mummy on the Orient Express out to very good. I think being good would be harsh. In Forest of the Night, truly, truly bad. Dark Water. Now this is what I wanted. Dark Water is fantastic. Missy, Michelle Gomez, her best performance in my opinion. Oh, second best performance after the Series 10 finale. Series 8 finale, she was superb. The stakes. Oh my god. Great episode. It's a shame Death in Heaven lets it down massively though. Under the Lake, that was part 1, I'm pretty sure. Under the Lake is very good. Last Christmas, I know Michael really likes this one. I didn't like it, and then I watched it again and I thought, yeah, there's some good stuff in this. I think the character stuff with Danny and Clara is really good. The whole sleep stuff is really good. I would personally put it in good. Magician's Apprentice, I rewatched this one yesterday, in fact, as well as The Witches Familiar, or maybe the day before. I think it was yesterday. No, it's the day before. Day before yesterday, should I say. Hang on, I need a yawn. And this is the other side of the spectrum for Michelle Gomez. I don't think she had some good moments. But when she just did the accents, I thought, oh my bloody god, this is truly dreadful acting. I'm sorry, Michelle Gomez, you're superb in a lot of episodes, but this one, and The Witches Familiar as well. I'm sorry, just no. Rock Doctor, not for me. I would personally put this around mediocre or I am gonna put good because when I finished, I was like, okay, that is good. Same with The Witches Familiar. I think it's good. I think 7 out of 10 would be suffice for it. Before the Flood, I think it's bad. The Woman Who Lived. Oh, that's not the girl who died. The Woman Who Lived is also bad. Actually, no, I ain't gonna put that in poor. I don't think it's bad. The Zygon Inversion. Chuck, that ain't great. It's not just because of the speech. I think there's some really awesome action scenes in it as well. Yeah, Pierre Capaldi knocked out to the park in the end. The Girl Who Died, very, very underrated. The Zygon Invasion, I would personally put it on par with, actually no, yeah. You know what, yes, I think it's a great two-parter from Series 9. Heaven Sent, overrated, but very good. Sleep No More. Face the Raven. Oh, the speech near towards the end where that she's just talking to the doctor. Exposition dump. I told you it's not just Muffet. Not just Chibnall. Exposition dump between those two, and I thought, oh my god, this girl's going to die in 2 minutes. Why are you talking for about 4 minutes? Just get on with it. Okay, this was good for the first 2 minutes when it was meant to be just 2 minutes, but now you're going on and on and on, for God's sake. But yes, Face the Raven is good. Could have been very good. I'm actually teetering between good and mediocre, but I'm happy with a good for now. There you go. 50% of this is just me yawning. That's right. Hellbent. Husbands of River Song. The Return of Dr. Mysterio. Very underrated. The Pilot. Smile. Thin Ice. Knock Knock. I think this may actually be in order. No, well, the Series 10's in order. Knock Knock. Oxygen. Extremis. The Lie of the Land. The Pyramid at the End of the World. All Enough in Time. Dr. Falls. The Dr. Falls is better than More Than Enough in Time, by the way. The Dr. Falls is just amazing, and it would have been an amazing ending episode for Capaldi, but I do have a newfound, I appreciate and really respect it Twice Upon a Time anyway, but after rewatching The 10th Planet, I just love Twice Upon a Time even more. It's truly fantastic. But yeah, Moffat and Capaldi ended on such a high. Yeah, absolutely. I need you on again. Oh god. The Edges of Light. The Empress of Mars. Rose. Twice Upon a Time. For Tonight We Might Die. Why is again Capaldi's probably in it. For Tonight We Might Die. Yeah. The End of the World. Why is it down there? There we go. Nope. Where's the End of the World? There we go. The Unquiet Dead. Aliens of London. Farty Monsters does not equal bad. It is a very good episode. Very good story, should I say. Wow, story, yeah. Dalek. The Long Game. Boomtown. Father's Day. The Empty Child. The Doctor Dances. Listen, greatest episode of all time. The Parting of the Ways. Bad Wolf. Yes, Bad Wolf is better than The Parting of the Ways. The Beast Below. Victory of the Daleks. And The Time of Angels. And that is my ranking. It's actually not as top heavy as I thought it would be. There's a lot of mediocre. there's quite a few bad, and there's quite a few shite than I expected. But yeah, it's not very good for a few eras. But yeah, this is my great. The End of Time Part 2, The Stolen Earth, Verge of the Dam, Planet of the Ood, The Impossible Planet, The Satan Pit, The Christmas Invasion, Rise of the Cybermen, The Age is Still, Utopia, Unicorn and the Wasp, Term Left, Midnight, Journey's End, Rosa, The 11th Hour, The Pandora Opens, Vincent and the Doctor, A Christmas Carol, Day of the Moon, The Big Bang, A Town Called Mercy, The Snowmen, The Day of the Doctor, Death of the Doctor, Darkwater, The Zygon Inversion, The Zygon Invasion, I'm so way around there. Oxygen, Extremis, War Enough Time, The Doctor Falls, Dalek, The Doctor Dances, Listen, and Bad Wolf. I think a lot of people would concur with that tier. Very good now. The Waters of Mars, Doomsday, Silence in the Library, The Girl in the Fireplace, The Sound of Drums, Skull Union, Reunion, should I say, The Wedding of Sarah Jane Smith, Human Nature, The Family of Blood, The Furs of Pompeii, Blink, Spyfall Part 1. Was Spyfall Part 2 even on here? I don't think Spyfall Part 2 was on here. If it was, then I must have missed it, but Spyfall Part 2 would be shite, probably, or bad. It's probably bad, yeah, it's bad. Maybe it's shite. Anyway. Very good again. Nikola Tesla, Night of Terror, Abby's Choice, Flesh and Stone, The Impossible Astronaut, The Rebel Flesh, The Almost People, Asylum of the Daleks, The Angels Take Manhattan, Cold War, Hyde, Deep Breath, Mama on the Orient Express, Under the Lake, The Girl Who Died, Heaven Sent, Thin Ice, Knock Knock, Twice Upon a Time, The Unquiet Dead, Aliens of London, and World War 3, Boomtown, Father's Day, The Empty Child, The Parting of the Ways, The Time of Angels, and then in good is The Runaway Bride, Army of Ghosts, Sontaran Stratagem, Gridlock, The End of Time Part 1, Tooth and Claw, Ponders and Crime, Smith and Jones, The Wound Who Fell to Earth, Ascension of the Cybermen, The Hungry Earth, The Lodger, The Curse of the Black Spot, The Doctor's Wife, The Good Man Goes to War, The God Complex, The Girl Who Waited, The Doctor, The Widow and the Wardrobe, The Name of the Doctor, Time of the Doctor, Flatline, Last Christmas, The Magician's Apprentice, Which is Familiar, Face the Raven, Return of Doctor Mysterio, The Planet at the End of the World, The Pilot, Rose, Fortuna, We Might Die at the End of the World, and Beast Below. In mediocre, I'm agreeing with myself. I think it's a bloody good list. Mediocre. The Doctor's Daughter, The Last of the Time Lords, Evolution of the Daleks, Daleks in Manhattan, The Forest of the Dead, The Lazarus Experiment, The Next Doctor, The Poison Sky, The Demons of the Punjab, The Saranga Conundrum, Kablam, Resolution, Orphan 55, Fugitive of the Jadoon, Praxeus, The Vampires of Venice, Let's Kill Hitler, The Wedding of River Song, The Rings of Akaten, The Bells of St. John, The Crimson Horror, Nightmare in Silver, Journey to the Center of the TARDIS, Into the Dalek, Time Heist, Smile, and Victory of the Daleks. Poor now. Planet of the Dead, The Shakespeare Code, The Battle of Fransko af Kolos, Can You Hear Me, The Timeless Children, Cold Blood, Night Terrors, Dinosaurs on the Spaceship, Robot Sherwood, The Caretaker, and The Woman Who Lived. Bad now. The Idiot's Lantern, 42, New Earth, The Witchfinder, Spyfall Part 2, oh no, Spyfall Part 2 was there, The Haunting of Villa Diodati, Closing Time, The Power of Three, Kill the Moon, Death in Heaven, Before the Flood. I mean, there is a case there for Paul, not bad, but I'll stick with Paul for bad for now. Hellbent, The Husbands of River Song, The Life of the Land, and The Empress of Mars. Shite now. Lava Monsters, Fear Her, The Ghost Monument, Arachnids in the UK, It Takes You Away, In the Forest of the Night, Sleep No More, The 80s of Light, and The Long Game. And that is my tier list. I'm going to save this now, and then I'm going to tweet it out shortly. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching. If you were indeed watching, or if you were watching live, or if you were watching on the catch up, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to check the chat. Just in case there were some people watching. Okay, so everyone said hello, hi Will, oh my god. So yeah, no one stuck around, that's unfortunate. That being said, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in a bit, and hopefully I can convince Andrew and Mike to do one of these solo live specials as well, just to do a tier list of their own. For now,